All right, what's going on, folks? It's Chris here, Better Investing. Today is Friday, February 26th, 2000, February 6th, 2026. Sorry about that. All right, yeah, so let's talk about the market. I had a little snapback today. Again, one day doesn't make a market. In terms of even yesterday, like I mentioned yesterday, the sell-off seemed to be broadening out. It seemed to be a one-day case. We'll see what happens next week, and a lot of those stocks kind of reversed. Really, pretty impressive candle, I would say the least. But it's one of those situations. I reconfirmed that we're back. I'm just not 100% sure based on like what we see there. But there are some opportunities to probably look at this as a spot to probably get long on some things. I would say. So I mean, looking at SPY, up on the day. I know this gap up kind of killed a lot of the setups. Like you kind of had to be like at your desk after hours to kind of get a good entry on a lot of these things because they already went. Like for example, like Hood, for example, like Hood yesterday hit about like 68 in the after hours, and then when you open up, it's at 77, right? So 68 to 77 overnight. It only has a $6 ATR. It's kind of hard for anyone to really think about trying to play that to the long side unless you're just like saying, "Hey, I'm just going to slap it." Definitely, looking at it from a perspective that it's below all key moving averages, and it hasn't had any relative strength. So, yeah, great. Congrats, was able to snipe the bottom. I would definitely like to know like what's your hit rate on things like that, like in terms of like a trade. More of a holding for long term. These price matters more than chart patterns and technicals. Like price matters when you're buying a business. So if you're able to get a hold of something like that, and you're thinking long term, you might have sniped the bottom. If you're trying to trade it, I'm just not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. Like, what were you trading this off of? Um, just don't say it. It's just like, all right, it's way overdone, perhaps. But yeah. All right. So looking at QQQ real fast. QQQ. Check out QQQ. QQQ up 2% on the day. No, gapped up right near open. What I went in, yeah, gapped up right near yesterday's open. Pulled back slightly and just straight reverse. I mean, we are still below the 50-day moving average. I do want to take it. I do want to keep that in mind. Right, if we kind of stay below this 200-day moving average, like what happens here? Um, don't know 100% sure, but I mean, you do have kind of like this little trend line here where perhaps we just do something like, um, all right, maybe we just kind of press back into this trend line or back into these moving averages. No, maybe something like that. Um, but yeah, I think it's probably this is probably gonna be a good weekend to look at some stocks. Like I know like RKLB. Uh, this is something I probably want to look at maybe for Monday, depending on how it opens up. Right, it did kind of undercut the 50-day moving average. It does still has this relative strength as well. It has pulled back, but it's undercut of the 50-day, put in a higher low. Didn't take out previous day high, but there's a chance that this can probably continue to push next week. So this is something I want to watch. ASTS, something I also want to watch as well. This doesn't look too bad. Pulled back into, I don't know why I have this 93 spot lined out. But really, I want to kind of see if we get back to over this 103 spot. But it looks like it's, it may dabble around here a little bit. But if you get like a little wedge pop back through the EMAs, right, might be something. Planet Lab as well. Let's see if I can pull this up. Planet Lab. This one, something I'm thinking about as well. Right, pull back to the 50. Relative strength is pretty strong. Probably should have been in it today. Honestly, here at 21.55. I'm not too sure if you had to go intraday to see if that would stop you off if you use today's low day. Right, this is a big move up since gap. I mean, this is a big move up since earning. Right, and I talked about this before. Like I like to play the 50 after you have a big move up in the first touch of the 50. Right, you kind of look for it to trigger over. That doesn't look bad for another move. But yeah, I probably got to do a little more research for today. I don't know. I did struggle a little bit, and I expected that. I mentioned yesterday that my equity curve kind of got a little bit parabolic. Um, but I know in the week I finished the week green. I had a good trade on Tesla. Unfortunately, I got knocked out a little bit too soon, but I did. I was talking about it in one of my group chats I'm in. And I had like 414.50 as like my level, and like it hit it to the T today, and I was kind of upset because I think I was in that around like 400, and then I got knocked out unfortunately. Probably should have hit it again, but yeah, I messed up on that. I was fucking around with some options today, and I tell you, man, the one thing about options I hate, because when I put in my P&L for the day, or I was right on the day, and then I looked at the damn commissions. I'm like, man, if I take these commissions off, I'm damn near flat. Like, it's like that's why I kind of like stick to shares, and I've been dabbling a little bit, with the options, just getting back into it just a little bit, but again, not something I'm really trying to get, as part of my main trading style. My main thing is shares. No, last night I did hit IBIBIT for about $200. It was nothing crazy. I think the thing for me was that it was after hours. I would have loved for this to happen during the hours. That way I could have kind of like used the cash market to kind of get a little more size. And honestly, I probably should have paid more attention to it today. Um, but yeah, I got in down here and there the lows. My average was like 34.26, and I was literally risking these lows. It was like 25 cents. And when I took it off, I had like an R multiple of like 7 and 11 on both 50 share lots that I sold. So I was pretty happy about that. Um, Anything else? Nothing really else that I think I need to talk about. I'll probably hop on here over the weekend. I know next week I definitely am busy with some work, so I'm kind of bummed about that. That I might miss out on some opportunities next week. But we shall see. And we'll see what the market got for us, right? Yeah, I think that's really about it. You just still gotta take things with a grain of salt. I feel like, Mags, definitely still showing some weakness. Kind of undercut this price action that we've been chopping in around. And if we're probably throwing like a line chart, you kind of see like this right here. It's like the close, right? Now we're just back at the bottom of this range on this. Going back to SPY real fast. It was probably going to be. Let me see. Look here on the weekly. It actually finished green. Crazy wick on the weekly, right? Right. This shows you that buyers are still here. Buyers are still present. That's pretty interesting to see. Right. First time we tapped the 20 week right here at 670 676 since November. Let's go look at QQQ. Still, remember, hovering right here at the 20. Um, Now, this is a hockey stick save. A little revert, a little undercut save. But yeah, I think we gotta wait and see. See what the market really has for us going into next week. Don't know what catalysts is out there. You probably do your research and see what happens over the week. But a 1 day pop. You just gotta be mindful of just a lot of covering up. If anyone got short over the last past few days, you get a big move down like that. 3-4 days down. You'll probably get some profit taken, some short covering. Short covers are the first buyers of the stock, pretty much. To kind of get things rallying again. But yeah, a lot of things actually fucking with nuclear, but not things like I personally like want to say like, okay, is this really in your playbook to kind of play? That's the thing I have a question with. Is this a playbook? Type of trade, or are you just like, oh, I think the market, you're just more intuition buying, which, if it works, it works, what you got to think about that, are these things in your playbook that you really often trade? But yeah, a lot of things actually, held at spots, I guess you expected to hold that. And it's been the case a lot of times. Like, here's an undercut of this level I have. I don't know why I have it, but it's a clear level at 76 or 75 or so. Undercut, broke out. I think this is presentable. Risking $2 or so. Let me see. Like, if I were to throw this on here on NBIS, I still can't ignore the look of this part of the chart, but like I said, I'll day trade anything. So if we were to throw this on right there. All right. All right. So say you just took it over 80, 82. Your stop is low day. Let's see how that. Yeah. I mean, that would have been a good trade for you. I mean, you would have got stopped out. I guess if you buy it here, you put your stop at low day. Let's see what the risk to reward would have been. I'm not too sure where I would have potentially target. That's the next question. But say if this is your trigger right over 82, right? Your stop is low of day. You're risking about $3. Doesn't really get you a 2 to 1. I mean, 1.5. Yeah, back to what I said. Just this wasn't playbook type loans. Maybe it was just the market was down too much. People were freaking out. Seeing what happened with Bitcoin and seeing how Bitcoin was kind of reversing, probably had a lot of sentiment potentially reversing. So okay, we got Bitcoin kind of showing a bottom. Maybe the market's going to bottom as well. But again, one day doesn't mark a bottom. One day doesn't mark a top. It's a process with everything. And I think you just got to be able to navigate the markets, which I would say is a pretty difficult time for a lot of traders. Definitely, considering how the market has looked. God damn, IWM went fucking green and 3.5%. That's crazy, right into the 50. Hold the 50 there. But yeah, that's about it for me, folks. Happy Friday. Good luck next week. Peace. God bless.